Alright, a slight build update for this uh, Boneshatter Chieftain. Still pretty much the same gear, just slightly upgraded. So, Corrupted Frost Breath for the attack speed and flat damage. We bought a +2 socketed AoE gems helmet, so we can get a level 23 Purity of Fire. That grants us +5 maximum fire resistance, and with some aura effect, that will grant us even more maximum fire resistance. As a Chieftain, that turns into all other elemental resistances. Still using the same rings as in the previous video, just for stats, fire resistance, and some damage. Still the same Soft's Heart, still the same Dawnbreaker, still the same boots. Bought the slightly better gloves with the better attack speed. I also missed out that Avatar of Fire is only 50% conversion. I thought it was 75. They must have nerfed it some time ago, or I'm just maybe dumb. So the 40% here, 50 here, and 10 here will turn 100% of physical into fire. Some melee strike range as well, which I would like to put on the helmet as well, instead of the increased armor and stun and block recovery, but that's maybe for another time. I got myself a new belt, just for some more intelligence, so I can get flammability up to a higher level. And I also got fire damage against burning enemies this time around when I put an exalted, Warlord Exalted Orb on it. Since it's a Stygian Vice, I can also add a jewel to it, so live, even more flat fire damage, and the flasks are pretty much the same. A prismatic tincture is actually very good. It's a lot of increased elemental damage and attack speed, which is insane. I believe I added, well, Flesh and Flame for Crave the Slaughter on Berserker, which grants me attack speed per frenzy, not per frenzy, per rage. I have a Impossible Escape based on Imbalanced Guard, so I can access these two prismatic, well, these all max fire resistance, so as I said earlier, Chieftain, maximum fire resistance applies to Cold and Lightning as well. So how does this build work? Since I didn't really go over it last time properly, in a timely manner. So we're using a couple of items. So Lightning Coil, and they recently added a new version of it. I'm just gonna put it up real quick. I'm just gonna do Facebook and YouTube real quick so I don't accidentally show anything that I don't want. 50% of chaos damage take as lightning. That's my next upgrade. I just need it corrupted for 2 AoE so I get the damage back. So 50% of chaos taken as lightning is big for our sustainability when we take chaos damage, because Transcendance applies all of our armor to elemental damage. So 50% of chaos to lightning allows us to add armor to 50% of the chaos damage, basically. Anyhow, what was I? Oh yeah, damage conversions from Lightning Coil, Helmet, Soft's Heart, and Dawnbreaker, and the Bound by Destiny, if I have 4 Warlord items, which I have, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That means that we don't have to worry about physical damage mitigation, which allows us to do Transcendence for even more mitigation, since all physical will be elemental, and yeah, that's pretty much it. At level 96, ignore those 2 skill points, the build is practically done. I don't know really where to put my next points. I'll probably just remove these two eventually, because once I get the Foulborn Lightning Coil, it no longer has a life roll, which means I can add the life mastery, 50% increased maximum life if I have no life modifiers on the body armor. I guess that would be best in slots instead of these two, and maybe just add one frenzy and then probably some strike range, or maybe a new cluster medium, if I can figure that out. We're also using the Oshabi skill tree because of the gain to a rage on attack hit and 20 maximum rage, but we lose all rage upon reaching max rage. And we get Wild Savagery, which says that we gain 100% increased physical damage and 10% action speed and stun immunity. Technically, also ignore enemy physical damage reduction. So if you want to do a physical version of this build instead of converting everything to fire, you could do that. Maybe it's actually better, but I wanted to use the nearby enemies are covered in ash for something, so hence why I did a fire version. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe physical is just straight up better because, well, with this, ignore enemy physical damage reduction is actually pretty big. Anyhow, I might have to POB that later if it will be better. What else is there to know? Oh yeah, since I'm talking about the Wild Bear one, to get 60 rage and maintain this Wild Savagery, we can also use the buffs on you expire slower. So instead of lasting 6 seconds, because my max rage is 60, because it's 30 base plus 20, that's 50, and another 10 here. So that's 6 seconds, and then 30% slower expiration on that. So is that like 8 seconds worth of Wild Savagery? And you can gain rage every 0.5 seconds, if I remember correctly. What does it say that? One hit every 0.5 seconds can cause you to gain rage. Yeah. So we have 2 rage on hits here. We have another one here. We have 2 here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 5 rage per hit. You can technically go with, if you want, one more node here for 6 rage on hit, but you don't really need it because 5 is just enough with this amount of attack speed. You need about 3 to 4 attacks a second to get, well, technically you need 2 attacks a second to get to the 0.5 cooldown, but the more the better because we're trauma stacking anyways. So 5 rage on hit is just fine to permanently keep Wild Savagery up at all times when bossing, basically. Our defensive layers, as I already stated, was, well, armor applies to elemental damage taken, we convert all physical to elemental damage, and eventually also 50% of chaos to lightning. We have Fortify on Overlord. You can also get it as a Corrupt on the Mace, so you don't need the Overlord. You can replace that node with something else. We have Life Regen based on our overcapped fire resistance. As we're Chieftain, we're just stacking fire resistance to get all elemental resistances. And that's pretty much it. Really enjoying this build. And I'm currently at depth 560. It's fine for delving. Bossing is slightly bad, but I'm just gonna give a quick showcase what it looks like. Now we can just sit here and do nothing. My brain is, well, not really sit because Vortex is still a thing. Dots is my only weakness, really. It is just that easy. I guess I could do a boss showcase, but I don't really think I have any boss ready, do I? No. Well, I've got a Maven. But the video will be way too long. I guess I could also just face tag some Black Rooms. That should be an issue with like 400,000 effective life pool with Molten Shell or the... Is it Heart of Flame? Yeah, Heart of Flame. So that's a build. Probably my build of the league because I love tanky builds. This is just... Wow, love it. Perfection. See you next video.